Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Walt here from Down the Block Sports, and today I want to talk about the NHL. There was a three-team trade earlier tonight involving the Boston Bruins. What I want to talk about is who they acquired and how this could help them win a Stanley Cup Championship. Again, I'm Alec Walt. This is Down the Block Sports. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more of my exclusive content. Yes, according to multiple reports, the Boston Bruins are involved in a three-team trade with the Washington Capitals and Minnesota Wild. The Boston Bruins will receive Dmitry Orlov, Garnet Hathaway, and Andrei Svetlakov, if I'm saying that correctly. The Washington Capitals will receive Craig Smith, a 2023 first-round pick, a 2025 second-round pick, and a 2024 third-round pick, all via the Boston Bruins. They will also retain 50% of Dmitry Orlov's salary, and the Minnesota Wild will receive a Bruins 2023 fifth-round pick and retain 25% of Orlov's remaining salary with the Boston Bruins. So a lot of pieces moving on here, but the main part of the deal is that Orlov and Hathaway are heading to the Boston Bruins. Now, when you look at this deal for the Boston Bruins, it's very clear they are all in on winning a championship. Dmitry Orlov is a solid top four defense who's a great skater, does provide a physical presence. If he was to play a full 82-game season, he'd be on pace to roughly average about 40 points this season. He's more of a passer than a scorer, only has 3 goals on the year, significantly more assists. So someone who's very versatile when you look at what the Bruins are adding to their blue line. He is a lefty. The Bruins are flooded at that position, but when you look at pieces who can skate, who can hit, provide impact in special teams, extremely productive 5-on-5 defenseman, he is someone who's going to make an immediate impact in that top 6. Now, I'm interested to see what the Bruins lines are going to look like going into him, and Grzelcyk are both lefties. That is something that is to note. Same with Derek Forbort. So how they construct those lines is going to be very interesting, but the Bruins needed to add some strength there on the blue line, and they added then Orlov. Now, Garnet Hathaway is someone Bruins fans probably know because he's one of the biggest jerks on the ice. He's someone you love when he's on your team, and you hate when he's not on your team. We've seen him get into altercations with guys like Brad Marchand in the past. He's someone who's going to make a huge impact on our fourth line. Now, yes, it is the fourth line, not one of the reliable scoring lines here on the Bruins, but when you looked at the Bruins team and you looked at what they needed to add offensively, their top 9 is set. They don't need another scorer. They don't need another guy to add to a productive power play. They needed someone who was physical, someone who could play that right wing position. That's exactly what you're getting out of Hathaway. When Hathaway's on the ice, everyone plays bigger. When someone messes with one of your stars, Hathaway is the next guy on the ice. He does score in big moments. We've seen him score overtime goals specifically against the Boston Bruins because he seemed to play some of his best hockey when playing against the Bruins. But when you play playoff hockey, when you play those tough series, you need someone who's going to go out there and throw some punches. Hathaway is not a guy many players in this league are going to mess with. You look at this fourth line, at bringing a guy like Nosek, Fredericks, another physical guy, Foligno, guys like that. Hathaway fits that absolutely perfectly. He gives the Bruins a guy with that punch. They were good offensively before they added Hathaway. But add him to that fourth line, that physical line, someone who you're not going to mess with in a playoff series, that's what this team needed if they wanted to compete for a cup. So Hathaway's not going to come here and score 20 goals in this last half of the season. That's not happening. But you're going to notice him on the ice. And Bruins fans, I can promise you this right now, you're absolutely going to love this dude. He gets under your skin. He throws punches. He lays huge hits. I was annoyed as a Bruins fan watching him in a Caps uniform, and I am pumped to know that he's on his way to the Boston Bruins. Now, when you look at what the Bruins gave up in this deal, Craig Smith, not coming back. He's a guy who was really the biggest cap dump on this team. The Bruins are strapped financially really before this trade. Craig Smith seemed like the most logical guy to move on at some point here in the deadline. As they make the additions, they were able to have him be a subtraction here in this deal for the Bruins. Not a huge deal. It didn't look like he was someone who was going to come back. A first, a second, and a third, all in different years, is a huge haul for a rental. I'm not going to sit here and say the Bruins stole, because they absolutely did not. A lot of this had to do with the fact that salary was retained by multiple teams. Washington is retaining 50% of Orlov's salary. They give a 5th-round pick to the Minnesota Wild to retain 25% of the remaining salary that the Bruins owed to him. The Bruins were looking as a team. They have the ability to make some more moves if they need to, with the deadline window still not over. But getting rid of your first this year, your second in 2025, and your 3rd-round pick next year, I get you're going all in this year, but based on the Bruins' current contract situation and knowing that Pastrnak is the guy you want to sign this offseason, Orlov's not looking like a guy who's signing in Boston to sign an extension immediately. You give Pastrnak that money, it looks like Orlov's likely not coming back after this year. His contract ends after this year. Same with Hathaway, even though Hathaway is going to make a heck of a lot less money in his next contract. So when I look at this deal for the Bruins, they gave up a ton to get this. They didn't get Chychrun. They didn't get Gavrikov. Orlov's a really good defender. Don't get me wrong. He's physical. He can skate. He can provide impact on special teams. He's someone who is going to be effective on the Bruins this last half of the year. Especially I talk about adding that other physical presence. He's not overly physical like a Hathaway, but he's someone who can make huge open ice hits if he's in that situation. But when you look at the Bruins, they needed to go all in. They needed to add the pieces to win a championship. We've seen guys like Carlo already get injured this year. We've seen multiple defenders get injured in playoff series in the past. The Bruins are one of the best defensive skating teams in this league. They added another solid skater, someone who can hit, someone who adds depth to a very good defense. Orlov's a hell of an add. And you want that punch you need in the playoffs? You want someone who's going to get under the skin of opposing teams? There may not be many better in the league than Hathaway at that position. You hated him on the Caps, Bruins fans, you're going to love him in Boston. So when I look at this deal for the Bruins, I'm hesitant to give them more than a B- because they gave up an insane amount, yes, because of salary purposes, to get these two guys. But are they Cup contenders? Hell yeah. Are they closer to being Cup contenders after this trade? Abso-frickin-lutely. Will it backfire if they don't win a Cup? You bet it will. But the Bruins have committed to competing for a Stanley Cup Championship this year. And they added two great pieces from the Washington Capitals. What do you think of this deal between the Bruins, the Capitals, and the Minnesota Wild? Feel free to give your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more of my exclusive content. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and we will see you very soon.